it's good to have you here this day. I am somebody that had a sort of unadventurous or bleak beginning, because when I was much younger, in my elementary stage, I fall in the group of those that, are not performing well, especially academically. Academically, I was below par. I was dull, sort of. In a class of 50, sometimes I'll be placed 48 when we are ranked, 49, or even 50, that 50. So, coming to that area of that turning point aspect of my life was due mainly to the involvement of my mother of blessed memory, who looked at the way things were going with that son of his. That's my academic records, how I'm faring at that point in time, how restless I was. Even with being a dullard, I was restless. Run into the bush, look for grasshopper, tie the legs of grasshopper, and start playing with. Look for snakes to kill, and the likes. And predominantly, I lived in an area whereby we have a lot of street boys that were like hoodlums. They never do well, and education was not a priority in that suburb. But my mother took it up upon herself. She approached my headmistress, late Mrs. Benson, and pleaded with her that this boy has just been promoted to primary 6 and that she's not comfortable with the general performance, not only the academic aspects, character-wise and otherwise, that I should be demoted. I was not asked to repeat that Osinaike Olawale should be demoted from going to primary 6 to primary 3. That was the turning point. My mother took it upon herself. She started teaching me from A, B, C, A for apple, B for ball, and the likes. So, from there on, it was as if something scraped what I had in my brain, and I started performing differently. The first exam that I took after being demoted to primary 3 was placing 4th. It had never happened. Somebody who was always 48, 49, 50 out of 50, now placing 4th. I was self-motivated too. For me to be fourth in class. It's unimaginable. So that first time, my mother thought it was a fluke. Yeah, Ṣẹ́gun, tó bá lè ṣe, you know, our communication was always in Yoruba. Tó bá tún lè ṣe dáadáa báyìí, àbí jù báyìí lọ, inú àwọn á dùn. That motivated me. That position self-motivated me. And the following one, I think it was third or so. And from then on, I was always 1 to 3, even till I completed the elementary class. Although about 3 years behind normal. That time when I was in class, when I was first demoted to primary 3, my classmates, new classmates, because my original classmates were already preparing to go to class 1. They make jest of me, so it made me become an, what do you call it? An introvert. An introvert in the sense that I had low self-esteem. But when I started, when I started placing fourth, placing third, the self-esteem changed. I now started looking at myself as somebody that can do well. And each time I do well, my mother gets me different clothes, buy me things. So with that, I felt in myself that, yes, I've arrived. A teacher, by training, by their orientation, they are counselors. A teacher should be a counselor. A teacher should be a model. A teacher should be a pharmacist. A teacher should be everything in one. So to a teacher, no child is a waste. No child does not have what God has naturally deposited in them. Every child is talented. That is what the orientation of a teacher is. So by so doing, they must ensure that they identify through mere teaching. Because when they are teaching, they will have some observation. Some children, maybe they are destined to be artists or skilled in particular trade. It is the teacher that will identify it, because in teaching, sometimes you ask them to draw. Sometimes you ask them to use their hands to carve some things. Sometimes you ask them to clean, to dust things. So all this always bring out the innate talent God has deposited in individual students. It's not left for you to tap it. So a teacher should be good enough, should be generous enough to identify these things and ensure that the domains of education are well noted in these children. That is, those that will become educators, those that will become lawyers, doctors, and the likes. There are some that will be pastors, evangelists, imams, and clerics. If you see them, because maybe you want to start a program and you say somebody should pray for us, you see such people being the first to come out to pray. So we must be able to identify the inherent talent in our students. So all our students are very, very useful, and whatever, some of them are jesters, some of them are comedians, some of them are journalists. Maybe when you ask them to write, you see some prolific writers, naturally talented. So we have them all among our students. Some, while they are asking them to do things in the class, they'll be kicking objects. You know that maybe these ones are sports inherent or talented in sports. Some will be throwing. So the orientation that our teacher gets is that all students are very, very highly talented. Okay. No child is a dullard. I repeat, no child is a dullard. Most of us attended Lagos State University, and I was there from 1987, LASU, to 91. No, I told you it was just a smooth something. I graduated from LASU. I studied physical education and sports. In the JAMB, I had 247, and then the cutoff mark for law and engineering courses was about 232. So there was pressure on my parents that come on, lọ ṣe better course, because what he got is, as a young guy, I started having some sort of ego. Yeah. Only law at engineering ló dájú. Although I'm not a science kini, but law, mo lè wọ law now. So mi ò ní ṣe physical education and sports more. So I told my mom that she can go ahead and change my course to law. When they got to the head of department, Dr. Agbonjimi then also, that one refused bluntly that he wasn't going to allow the best student that he had for PhD and sports to be moved from that department unless that student is not going to be admitted into LASU. Mrs. Kehinde, who happened to be an aunt, was a non-teaching officer at LASU. She went on her knees, she begged. Ọmọ yìí nǹkan tó gbà yìí, ó ti ju cut off many of them to law study. Please let him. He said no, that he will not be able to. So that sort of wanted to dampen my morale. But I summed up courage, because then they were calling those that came to the university to read physical and health education, jumpology, ajíṣerépa, kíní kan. But you know what? We normally borrow courses from other departments. So we were given the option of going to either science or humanities. I went to humanities. I did financial accounting. I did courses in the economics, this thing. And I performed excellently. In our education courses, I did well. So in my second year, there was more pressure to still move, that this guy has very good results. It's a very good material for this, even in the area of sports. But I started developing very huge interest in physical education and sports. And I was determined to either go to the military or to the National Sports Commission. But when the pressure came again, I was not too perturbed. It was they said I should go and get a letter from the clinic that I was not fit. I went to LASU because they are not going to take this thing. I went to LASU clinic. I faked that I was not fit. When I was tested, everything was fine. When the result came out from the lab, they said I'm fit, I'm very good for that course. So from that year too, I just discovered that why all this? Let me continue. But because I was very playful, outgoing, I don't spend much time to read, but I will still do well. The maximum I can stay to read for any course is an hour. After an hour, nothing else. I went to serve in Cross River State. I was posted to the Cross River State Sports Council. So I was coaching on one hand, but because young guys want to explore, immediately I finish anything I'm doing, because coaching is mainly in the mornings. From 12 upward, nothing doing, I do. So I went to one of the secondary schools to teach. And I found that getting additional distance from secondary school, I was very good. And in the evening, I will also go to one of the clubs, the Pelican Stars, and train the girls. I was the pioneer coach of the Pelican Stars, Calabar. So I had 3 in 1, and I was playing for the Cross River State NYSC team. So I was duly engaged. But do you know what happened? After service, I was given employment, automatic this thing, in Cross River State. But my mother was crying in Lagos that the last time she saw me, I was highly emaciated, this and that. So after service, I was there. They gave me an official bicycle. Very good. I was given an official bicycle. I don't touch my alawi for any reason because of those extras. When we have matches at the stadium, I go there, they give us bribes. I was having money at the gate. So a lot of things. My alawi was just there. So when I got back to Lagos, after a lot of disturbance from this same, my mother. So for the first week that I was at home, I now asked her, you said I should come back from Cross River. What do you want me to be doing now? I'm not doing anything. During the service, I got letters of interviews from National Institute for Sports, NIS, Nigeria Football Association, NFA then. Before the letter got to Cross River, the interview has been conducted. So I rushed back to ask for a refix of the interview. They said they will invite me. If they are going to invite me, maybe it's tomorrow. So for the first month, because we finished our service in September, November, between September and November, I remained in Cross River. I had a lot of girlfriends, and they used to be very beautiful there. So I was enjoying it, but I was forced back to Lagos. And one of those girls of Cross River came to Lagos the following week and searched for me. But that one is just by the way. I was now going to Cotonou to buy rice and sell. I was getting money, yes, because I didn't want to stay at home. So one of my uncles came to the house. Ongba teacher allows her latest come o secretariat then. The teacher go fin dúró sílé yìí, ẹ jẹ́ kó lọ bẹ̀rẹ̀. So my mother, she was crying. You know, I love my mother. She was begging, she was pleading. Iṣẹ́ rice tó ń ṣe kò ń ṣiṣẹ́. You are a graduate, you did this and that. Okay, then try. You know, that was when I came to Old Secretariat, and I was not part of the interview. I did not apply, nothing. I just walked into the office of the head, because that's my uncle that came, knew that person. So that person asked me one or two questions. He saw the way I answered. So and when I started teaching, every week I was posted to Ekpe. And that was what brought me from Surulere to Ekpe. Every weekend from Ekpe, I run back to Surulere because I was still searching for another job.
Why you were teaching?
While I was teaching, I was still searching. For the first 1 year, I was shuttling to get another job. I went to Sports Council, I went to Commission, I went everywhere. There was a time they wanted to recruit Babangida's soldiers then. I was there. When they wanted to recruit at the police college, I went for the screening. I said, we are not looking for people like you. We are looking for secondary school leavers. UK, a graduate. No, you are supposed to go for short term, this thing, and become kini. No. So I was marking time. But at the end, as much as I was not too dedicated and dutiful to the teaching job, at the end of my second term or third year in teaching, award came that I was the best teacher. Me, best teacher. How come am I best teacher? But it was because of the fact that I love training students and they were going out to win. So when I got that award, and it was a boarding school, government college, K2 Ekpe. Parents were giving me gifts. A lot of things were coming. Salary that I was not expecting, I got. lots of gifts. The students loved me. I was very popular. The female teachers loved me. Wahala dey o. So, interest started. I started giving more. And since then, there's hardly a year. Up till now, one award or the other. One award or the other. I was once one of the best 3 teachers in Nigeria. I've traveled overseas based on this job. So I'm an international teacher. As a vice principal, I've gotten the award of best vice principal. As a principal, gotten award of best principal. As an administrator, best administrator. As a Tutor-General now, best Tutor-General permanently. Well, if a young person is trying to channel a part of for life, that person should be very passionate about whatever area he or she wants to tour. Because if you are passionate about it, whatever itch or obstacle or challenge that you meet along the way, you will not see it as a stumbling block. You will see it as, well, this is one of the hazards of what I'm trying to accomplish. You know, all what I'm saying is that it's not that it was smooth all the way. Add the negative aspects too, but it didn't come negative, because to me it was as if people were envious or jealous of that progress. Because there was a time one of my principals challenged me, say, every time when I'm seated somewhere, the female students will gather around me. That I'm not an English. I was one of the, let me not say the most, but I was one of the very popular in all the schools I served. In one instance, the vice principal attacked me that am I a vice principal or I'm the principal of the school? Why am I so popular? Why am I? It is what I say that the students will follow. You know, you don't need to tell somebody that you are the vice principal or you are the principal. That's how you influence them. It's just like me telling you here that I am. Do you know that I am the Tutor-General?
Do you know who I am?
No, I don't need to say that. What I do will be a pointer to who I am. And if somebody is passionate about what he's doing, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that person will not achieve. Even the unthinkable, what you think is not going to be possible, you will achieve it. You'll be surprised. I've enjoyed so many courses, local, state, national, international. I've benefited so much from Lagos State in terms of investment in my career path. The British Council, I benefited from the British Council. Sponsored a lot of things, giving me scholarship, and it is still through this profession that I reluctantly joined. So, what am I going to say? And thank God, if I have the opportunity again of towing this path, with the experience that I've gathered, I will not hesitate to be a teacher. I've been called so many times to be resource person at various seminars, workshops. I've trained boarding house personnel at different times, head of department, different categories of teachers. This district is called the Blooming District because of the way and manner things have gone. Why is it blooming? I've been able to influence certain things anywhere I go. For example, as a principal at the 3 different schools, it's a high school, a riverine school, Ogumodede College, highly populated school with sometimes very unruly students. And I was also principal at Government College, where I started teaching, a boarding school, sort of better refined than the other 2. In the 3 colleges, I achieved an 100% credit and distinction at their final exams. 100% at Ise High School, 100% at Ogumodede, and 100% at Government College. Why is it possible? How? Because when I get to a school as a principal, my first address to the student is that you can be the best in your chosen field. All of you will not be doctors, all of you will not be lawyers, but whatever you choose to achieve, come and let me know. You will excel. There was a time, because I knew how notorious some of the students at Ogumodede were. The first thing in the morning is to set up the music box in the school. When they are sweeping, they are listening to music. Before the assembly, as early as 6:45, our assembly will be around 7:30. So, those that are trance, that don't want to come to school, music will bring them. Sometimes training, football that they will watch on the field, and some athletes training. It's always a beehive of activities. And students love it. Variety is the spice of life. It's not that you must come to school, enter the class, study. Clubs and society, I promote it a lot. You want to be in the Boy Scouts, Red Cross, all these ones. Carpentry club, there is. I am the chairman of the Barbers Club. I was the chairman then. So, because the students have varieties to choose from, as I speak to you, I have players playing in foreign land. I have athletes. I have bankers. So many students. Everywhere I go, my last passport that I did, it was my students that footed all the bill, paid for everything. I went to Abuja to do some correction, paid for my flight, did everything. When I go to the bank sometimes, some of my students will be struggling. I'm the one that will attend to master. The first dollar I saw in my life was given to me by a student. So, this job, I don't know, it has been highly fulfilling to me. And as a permanent secretary now, Tutor-General, the Lagos State government under the leadership of Mr. Babajide Olusegun Olawale made it so easy to manage the schools because all that is desired has been given for you to do well. Fantastic. Fantastic. You know, I mentioned something that sometimes I decide to go to Epe and come back. Anytime I go to Epe and come back here, they know I will get here before 90% of staff. That is one. As a father, as a parent, my family, I won't say the love is too much because there's no little time. If I spend an hour with them, it will be as if they have been with me for a whole day. Adventurous, all the necessary things they need. My wife, I started late, so I cannot afford to be homely. I ensure that anytime I'm there, the time is well spent. Give them the necessary attention and they love it. My boy, the smallest, can call me 3 times in a day. And when he's doing it, he'll call the 2 others. Those ones are female. I want to call daddy now. Let's do video. Let's call it. Let's do this. You know, even as work, I'm also fathering or doing domestic something. My wife, if not that the phone is on silent, I will have seen a message or the other. Mo kàn ní kí n gbọ́ mo wà okay. We are far away, but we are very close. Do you understand that? For 2 people to be far away and to be as if they are in the same kingdom. That's the beauty of communication. If there's any problem anywhere, it is communication challenge. Nothing else. Because ọ̀rọ̀ ẹnu yìí, ó máa ń mú obì jáde lápò. Ó dẹ̀ tún máa ń mú idà. So I communicate beautifully and I spend good time. Education District 4. Our mandate is to improve on standard, that is the quality of education, and quantity. So things must be done in a way towards fulfilling what the mandate tells us. And we have a platform in which this should be done, leveraging on the Teams Plus agenda, the policy trust of the state, of our able and unable governor. So it is that Teams Plus, especially the third pillar, that deals with education and technology, that we leverage on in doing a lot of things that we are doing. So what we did is to deploy technology to service all the areas, all the pointers that we want to develop. Academic-wise, that is cognitive, character-wise, punctuality in school, competitive nature of students, and every aspect. So, for instance, the first thing we did was to harmonize what the 94 schools in the district must do. How do we harmonize? What is done in school A at a particular time, all other schools must be doing the same thing. So, programs and events, there's a platform for it. So when we open our programs and events, because it is well monitored and you will always see it in their performance analysis. Let me give you this is one. This is the first term to third term performance rating of all the schools. And how do we do the rating? I've not opened this thing for today, programs and events, because I went out for another exercise. This is it. So that is the harmonization. If they're having debate at New Era, if you go to Apapa, because in the district we have 3 zones, Apapa zone, Surulere zone, and the mainland zone. If you go to Apapa zone, what they are doing in Surulere zone must be happening at mainland and Apapa. So, and that is what we have here. If they are having Yoruba quiz, that's what they will be having in all the schools. So that is unique on its own. Also, if we need to give them information, notices about events, there is a platform, notices and information. If they will go there and read whatever information. Okay, this is an information on promotion of candidates. This is an information on final provisional academic calendar. They go there and get it. All those things they are doing on programs and events, there is a platform where we give feedbacks of our observations. Okay, in social school, we observe this. In social events, social school have performed this way. All those ones are being recorded in form of points, because a accumulation of it at the end of the time is what we are having here. We have that of 2021-2022 session, 2022-23 session, ongoing presently 2023-24 session. At the end of the term, we have, and when we now have the annual merit award, this is where we showcase all those that have excelled. So it is not going to be a subjective choice of best teacher, best principal, best school, best this, best that. It's an object. You too will see it. You will see how you came first, how you are second. Then we have platforms for interventions for basic education certificate exam, that is BECE. Another platform for West Africa Senior School Certificate exam, that is WASE. Because at the end of BECE and WASE, we analyze the performance of all the schools. So for them to do well in these two exams, their interventions, they will come through the harmonized programs. Their interventions must come at the same time. They will set up when teachers will go there. Let me open that WASE intervention class. This is WASE. They have their CBT class. This is United Senior. So when it seems the network is, all the schools will post what they have done in terms of, and we will assess it. If you look at this place now, you will see the English language. They will tell us how it was done, how many students partook in the exercise, and those that were not there. Every activity, WASE 2024, with date, we are trying to prepare global students so that your education will be a sort of fit for purpose. When you are here, you'll be able to cope with what you are doing. If you have the opportunity of traveling outside, okay, as I sit down here before your last question, we have two groups of students. The first group from Wesley Senior, they have won all the competitions in Nigeria. They are going to Sweden in early August. So they were there. Yes, public school, they are going to Sweden. They were there last year and they performed exceptionally. This year again, they started from the zonal level, went to the state, won at the state level. At the national, they went to Abuja, won at Abuja. That is what qualified them for Stockholm in Sweden. I see that is not good enough. Students from, I think just yesterday or 2 days ago, from New Era, they competed in robotics. You know, the world is going scientific, and that is it. They won the robotics competition that was done at the resource center, and they are going to Turkey before the end of November precisely. Our students still from Wesley, they just came back from US a couple of months ago from the slum. They participate in essay competition all over the country, and 2 of them were picked from the slum at Makoko. They've traveled and they are back from United States of America. So you can see how our public schools are really being prepared to meet up with the global trend. Thank you. So they are not missing out on anything. We have exposed them because that is the in thing. It's not imagine again, it's the in thing. They are comfortable with their computer works. The Lagos State government facilitated them to have tablets and the likes. In most of our schools, you have the ICT centers with well-equipped our ICT center. So they don't have challenges in doing most of the things that they were deployed to do. In Nigeria, for instance, I was a follower of stationery stores, the Flaming Flamingos then. But when Premiership started gaining all this big momentum, and people started having different. Initially, I was not interested in any of the foreign club, but later I started having interest in Manchester United, the Red Devils, because I had so many Chelsea supporters in my area, and they disturb a lot. They disturb a lot. So, but when I now saw that in most instances, Manchester United defeat them, they still have Oga, then I will support the Ogas. After education, I want to retire into sports management and administration, because that is where my passion lies. I want to go back, give back to that. And that is why in the administrative cadre, I started from being a member of Ekpe Divisional Football Association. I was a member, I was the treasurer. From there, I became chairman, Ekpe Divisional Football Association. From there, I moved to the States. Even as a permanent secretary, I am a member of the Lagos State Football Association. Maybe in the nearest future, I may be the chairman. Maybe in the nearest future, I move on to be a member of the NFF. Maybe in the nearest future, God's sparing our lives, I may be the chairman. I don't know. Maybe in the nearest future, I may be picked or elected into the FIFA. But that is where I have my passion.